Okay, so moving along to the bottom half of the table, I mean, which team should we honestly start with? We talked about Aston Villa with Arsenal
Mm.
and
I
how
think
they. I wouldn't say they're. I don't even know how to word it. They've been in okay form, but they're still inconsistent.
Villa.
Yeah, so like they lost to
Yep, there's straight
Liverpool, which is a
losses.
team that. So the start of the new year, I'm just gonna go start of the new year with their form. Liverpool, they lost 3-1. They drew with Wolves. They lost to Stevenage in the FA.
Mm.
Um,
It's pretty bad.
they beat Southampton, Leeds, and Leicester beat them. And then past 3 games, lost to Leicester, City, and Arsenal. It just looks like their form. They are good teams, City and Arsenal, but Leicester is,
Mm.
I want to say, laughable this season because it looks like they improved at the January transfer window.
They have.
But you know what I mean? It's just not very consistent from what I've been
No,
seeing.
but it's improving, and it's another case of a team sticking with the manager through a tough spot because they believe their manager is the best for their
And
situation.
it's Unai Emery, right? For
At
the
Villa, yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
he
sorry, I thought you were talking about Leicester at this
no
point
no
for
no
some reason.
no.
No.
Yeah, Unai Emery at Villa. It is. I would say they deserve their spot probably by the end of the season. A good 11th place finish
Yep.
wouldn't be bad. But
Yep.
Crystal Palace and their recent run of
Just a
form,
bit boring.
yeah, actually, it's going back. December 31st was the last time they scored more than one goal, and that was only 2 goals. Very boring. It was they drew Brentford, Palace 1-1, lost to United 0-0 with Newcastle. Very boring. They're consistently tying. It looks like consistently drawing.
Mm.
Just either that or winning 1-0. They lost to Chelsea actually, which is kind of laughable as well. And then
I
started the new
guess,
year. Tottenham actually beat them 4-0. So
yes, that was a good game. It
yeah,
was probably the most undeserved fourth victory ever, but yeah. I'd
beggars
say
can't be choosers.
they will probably be safe. They need to start scoring a few more goals, but the main
Oh
focus,
yeah
I
yeah
think,
yeah.
from Wolves up, those teams feel safe. Wolves feel like they're going in a better direction. Leicester, Nottingham, Villa, Palace, they all seem like they're going in a much better direction than the 5 teams below them.
Yes, I
Everton,
will say though, Wolves they had a good few games. It's not like
mhm,
that can fall off easily when you're still 15th.
yes, but
As yeah,
they're winning. Teams below them are not consistently winning.
yes, but I will say a team like Forest as well. The amount they're going to have to rely on Keylor Navas to help support them through the rest of the season is going to be a lot of pressure. He was a PSG keeper. He was also Madrid. He's an experienced keeper. He can do it, but I'm saying that's a lot of pressure to put on a Premier League first ever time in the Premier League, fighting relegation. Basically, I'm still going to have Forest in there until they are at the 35-point mark. I'm going to say,
Okay, that's
but
fair. I think that Nottingham are going to be fine. They just drew 1-1 with City this weekend.
which
Keylor
was
Navas,
from a ton of pressure
yes, which
that they're
is
putting on
where
Navas.
City should have taken their chances. But I think they've been in great form recently. I think they've got a good enough squad to stay up. I think even though it's a brand new squad, you look around comparing it to teams like Southampton, Bournemouth, Everton. I just think
You can
Nottingham
say
Forest's
Leeds.
squad is much better.
You can say Leeds.
Yeah, Leeds too.
Even though I
Leeds.
feel Leeds has a very now going back to Leeds, it's going 13th to 19th.
Hmm.
I feel Leeds have a decent squad. They've made improvements. We made
Hmm.
improvements in January. We brought in Verber, who looks incredibly defensively solid, but he got injured and was replaced. A center back got replaced with a right back, and then the
Luke
current
Ayling.
right back played center back.
Hmm.
It wasn't even on the right side. Junior Firpo wasn't even bad on the left. He was fine, honestly. It was
Hmm.
the luckiest cross goal I've seen. Mesley was prepared for a cross, and he just shot it.
Yeah, that was pretty poor.
Ridiculous, but either way.
Mm.
I feel like there's still
Like, I'd rather be
class.
relying on Navas to save me than Meslier.
No, yes, for sure.
Or Pickford, or Neto,
Oh,
or
goalkeeper, yeah.
Fabianski.
Goalkeeper Meslier is one of the worst in the league right now. And
Mm.
speaking of, he's got a future stars in FIFA, which is crazy.
Well, goalkeepers at 22 usually aren't playing, so I think there's
Yeah,
something to be said to that.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
if you look at actually looking at it now, I want to say the two youngest Premier League starters are probably Melier and Bazunu, Southampton's keeper.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's a correlation. I wonder.
With youth, oh, for
Um,
sure. It's
yeah,
inexperience.
yeah.
Yeah. But I mean,
So,
going with quality of players, though, I feel like Everton don't have quality. They're just going to play dodgeball. That's
mm,
just what they're going to do to fight relegation again. Bournemouth, I can name very few players on that team, just to be quite honest, period. I don't watch their
mm,
games. It's kind of boring. Like, except for that 4-3 game with Leeds lasted, I think. Let me see their hit form real quick. Yeah,
yeah.
it's a bunch
Bournemouth are
of.
a weird team.
They lost to
I
Burnley
thought
as well in the FA Cup.
I thought they'd be worse than they are. Um, and I like Bournemouth as a story. I always have ever since they came up the first time. But it just doesn't seem like they have the squad to carry them out. They have a bunch of young, interesting, just yeah, I think that's the best way to put it. Interesting players with a few good veterans like Lerma and Neto, their new captain. But it's just with the inexperience of their coach and the young and not good enough squad quality. Right now, if I were to tip three teams to go down, this would be one of them.
No, yeah.
And looking at it, I'd also put Southampton. I like Southampton. They've been in the league for ages, but this team just failed investment after failed investment, and getting rid of Ralph Hasenhüttl looks worse and worse every day. I think those two are my two favorites to go down. I think West Ham. I think West Ham will figure it out, and if they don't figure it out soon, they'll can Moyes and they'll figure it out because
I don't think Moyes is ever gonna. I think if they're gonna go down, it's gonna be with Moyes. It's pretty late in the season now to sack a manager. I feel, and
Leeds just did it.
we still don't have a new one. Is the thing. There's not many.
West Ham's a bigger club to go to. You go
I
in there
know.
and you
I
say,
respect that. Yes, but it'll take a couple weeks just to get a manager in too. So that's at what I'm
not
saying.
always.
I'm saying he still isn't sacked,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm saying if he gets sacked tomorrow per se, then sure they have 15 games left. But judging from what I just know what West Ham is, they're going to keep Moyes for another 2 to 3 weeks maybe, and then sack him. So maybe with 11 games left, they'll have a new manager, which is not a lot of time. So I feel
Yeah.
like even if they were to go down, they might keep him just so they don't risk it. Like how,
Mm-hmm.
for example, Leeds I feel should have kept Marsh, or at least
Mm-hmm.
kept him until they found a replacement.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to do the same, and it's not going to be a lot of time. If you want to put 10 games on a coach that's willing to come in, sure, go for it. That's a lot of stress.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. But I think they have the squad quality to pull it out.
Oh,
Now I look at Leeds.
they have great quality on the team.
I look at Leeds now, and Leeds have basically become my second team over the last 3 years now, 3 seasons.
It was the season they came up. I started watching 3/4 of the way through the season.
Mm-hmm. They've kind of become my second favorite team. I've really just enjoyed watching Leeds, even though they've regularly disappointed me. Last year, they had the magic of the late goal, but I look at their squad now.
Last season, we had the highest amount of goals past the 90th minute mark, and once Rodrigo gets back, I feel like that's when our form's going to pick up, which I still believe is early to mid March.
But that's one player. I look at that defense.
We
Rodrigo's
have
not going to fix that defense.
no, we have one solid defensive player in Vober, and maybe Koch if he's having a good day.
Yeah, your fullbacks aren't Premier League quality. I like A-Link, but
For a personal, I'm not the coach, but what I would do is have a 5-back system right now with Adams and McKinney, honestly, as the mid. We'll be less defensively. We'll be less attacking-wise. But once Rodrigo comes on with maybe Somerville and Nanto, that won't be bad attacking-wise. And Adams and McKinney run up and down. And Junior Firpo and Christensen... Firpo came from Betis as a wingback. Christensen plays as a right wingback for the national team. So I feel like maybe a back three of maybe like Cooper, Verber, and Koch, just to be more defensively sound. Just because we're leaking goals.
Yeah, it is bad. 39 goals.
Excuse me.
Bless you. Yeah. Looking at it, I mean, only a few teams have conceded more. It's Bournemouth and Leicester and Southampton. So.
I mean, what I'm saying is, though, we are the worst team statistically in Premier League history at 2 goals scored against per game for a whole calendar year, on average.
I'd say the way you get out of this is you score your way out of it. I think you have attacked.
That's the only way we could at this point. But I still think we should play with the 5-back because we have fullbacks that are great offensively that can help with the offense. And honestly, a player like Jack Harrison, real quick, can play left wing back. He's not good defensively, but he tracks back every single time. I'm saying as a substitute, not as a starter.
Yeah, as like a worst case scenario, like Jason.
Yeah.
Which is most games. So.
Yeah.
So I think that's a pretty good roundup of the Premier League this weekend. Really business as usual in the Premier League. The changes, lots of movement. Chelsea disappointing. I'd say that maybe that was the only normal this weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
Scoring,
Leeds losing.
And Crystal Palace drawing.
Yeah, really only normal things again. I'm going to look up the matches for next week. I actually want to get for match week 25. I want your guesses for next week. Besides the postpone. Ignore those. Man U and Brentford are postponed, and so is Newcastle Brighton. But Fulham Wolves, I want your not score line. You don't have to give a score line, but I want win, draw, or loss each one.
All right. Name them off, and then I'll.
Okay, Fulham Wolves.
I want to lean towards a draw.
I'm going to say a classic. I want to say 2-1 Fulham.
Okay, that's kind of what I was thinking, but I just feel like...
So actually, sorry, you can put in scores if you want. I just said no scores, but you can throw in a score.
All right.
And then Everton Villa. I think it's 1-1, 1-1.
I'd say 1-0 Everton.
Keep the form going with Dashball. I respect it. I don't want it to happen, but that's what's going to happen. Especially with Villa's shaky form recently. All right, Leicester and Arsenal.
Arsenal 3-1.
I'm actually going to go 1-1. I mean, they brought in a new defensive player, Sutar, who isn't bad. He came up from the Championship. I mean,
Tete looks good.
Let me look at their form real quick. Leicester's form.
They smashed Spurs.
They just lost a landslide to United. They beat Villa, though. Drew with Brighton, but before that, they lost to Newcastle and Forest. I'm saying 1-0 is still my guess. All right, West Ham Forest. This is going to be a relegation battle fight right here.
Forest 1-0, Moyes gets fired.
Ooh, we're going to add that factor in?
Yeah, that'd be insane if that comes off.
I mean, I was going to go, honestly, 1-1 again. Just because Navas is great, but West Ham I feel like, going to score at least once against a team like Forest. But again, West Ham are also shaky in form, so I feel like they're going to get scored on. And just give me your honest opinion. Leeds Southampton.
Well, neither of them have a coach, so by the time this game rolls around, both of them could have a coach. So it's really hard to say at this point.
Scubala is confirmed to be the Southampton coach for this upcoming weekend. That's honestly, I'll take it. It's points on the board. They're the only team below us, which isn't good.
Worse than you.
They're the only team worse. But we just need points at this point. Any single way possible. If Everton lose, we're that much closer. If West Ham lose, we're that much over them. or we're that tied with them, but I think on goal difference would be fine, if I'm not mistaken. Burnham City.
6-0.
I'm gonna say like a sombrero from Holland. I don't even know what to do.
Another
I know,
Holland trick. Yeah.
but Holland isn't in best form. But I'm gonna say he's gonna have a frenzy. If Leeds scored 5 on him, I don't see or scored 4 on him. I don't see why City can't score 8. Like, yeah, Palace Liverpool. That is a toss up in my opinion.
1-1.
This might sound crazy. I'm saying 3-0 Liverpool.
They could get back to it.
I'm thinking with a team like Palace that is very boring with their scoring. Like Van Dijk is out, I know that, but like if they don't score a lot, they're not. I don't know. And then the good old Tottenham, Chelsea.
I didn't realize they were playing until the game was today, and they said it, and I was like, that's just the game, Spurs.
I will actually be visiting this weekend too.
Yeah, so
but maybe,
might get more time together.
Maybe, but I might. Yeah, depends on the day, but
1-1.
1-1. I'm gonna say Chelsea are gonna play the same lineup they always do. Just throw out their youth, get them the mesh. I'm gonna say if Tottenham play Royale and just keep Perisic benched.
So Ben Davies, Longley, Dyer.
I'm gonna say that Tottenham 2-1.
I'd love to see it. I just don't have faith.
We're gonna see if Royale can silence Mudryk.
Mm-hmm.
Keep him in his pocket, tucked.
Hey, he pocketed Grealish the other weekend.
And then,
I guess.
Actually, real quick, we can go over the games made up from Matchday 7. 2 games. Arsenal and Everton is 1. I'm gonna say Arsenal 3-0. Honestly, I'm sorry.
Everton 1-0. That's always been.
I feel like Arsenal's gonna come back with a vengeance.
Yeah, they will.
And then Liverpool Wolves. Another toss. I'm gonna say 1-0.
Liverpool 2-0.
2-0.
2-0 Everton. 2-0 Liverpool. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna say 1-0. But
that's fair.
It's just me. That's yeah. Fair.
Cool.
All right.
I think we've done a good job reviewing and previewing for the Premier League for this week. I know you wanted to touch on one wild sporting activity. I know last week we talked more about the NBA trade deadline, but this week, except for news to do with the All-Star game, I know you just wanted to highlight a 76er.
Oh, yeah, this is just random, just a small little segment. But Mac McClung, actually, ever since he was in high school, and I think when I was starting in college, I followed him as well. I always thought he was great. I just thought he was going to be good in college, but I hoped he would have been good in the NBA, which, he just won the dunk contest. So that proves something. But it's just crazy to see how a kid that you saw, not growing up because I was in college, they still go from high school to now winning the dunk contest with the Sixers. Also only playing 2.
Kind of a social media super. Right?
Exactly. He put on his high school jersey, did a 540 dunk when he's 6'2". So looked at the rim, his eyes were level with the rim. Like it was crazy. And then
next level athletes.
He only played 2 games with the Sixers, so I'm not sure how he got the invite for the dunk contest.
He's in the G League.
Yeah, he's in the G League.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you want to see it be Aaron Gordon versus Zach LaVine versus John Morant versus.
Yes,
Zion.
but now coming up,
but we might
see Mac McClung be the next Aaron Gordon of the dunk contest, just making an appearance every time, and doing all these. Going over
going to be in the G League.
Going over a Toyota Sonata, just doing like Aaron Gordon.
I wouldn't hate to see it.
I would not either.
Yeah. Well, I think that sums up everything we wanted to talk about here today. Anything else from you?
Nope.
Nope. All right, cool. Well, thank you everyone for joining us again here on the Sideline Debrief. Enjoyed the Premier League top half of the table. At the Premier League bottom half of the table, predictions, and our little Mac McClung section. Join us again next week. We'll be here same place, probably different time. See you again next week.
See ya.
Thank you. Bye.